రరమా ఇంటిదాకా రామ రరమా ఇంటిదాకా రామ రరమా ఇంటిదాకా రార రఘువీర సుకుమార మృకేరా రరమా ఇంటిదాకా రార దశరథ కుమార నన్నేలు కోరా తాళ లేరా రరమా ఇంటిదాకా దిక్కునీవనుచు తెలిసినను బ్రోవ గ్రక్కున రావు కరుణను నీసే చిక్కియున్నదెలా మరతురాయిక చిక్కియున్నదెలా మరతురాయిక చిక్కియున్నదెలా మరతురాయిక శ్రీ త్యాగరాజుని భాగ్యమా రరమా ఇంటిదాకా రామ రరమా ఇంటిదాకా రార రఘువీర సుకుమార ముఖేరా రరమా ఇంటిదాకా. This unbelievable composition, the event that unfolded to compose this, it is worth a discussion. Tyagaraja was having a unidirectional pursuit in the sense that he was only worshipping Rama. His attention is only towards Rama. He is not paying attention to any activities in the physical world, like working, finding a job, welfare of the family, etc. It doesn't mean that he is having attention deficiency disorder syndrome. It's just that he is unidirectional. He was unidirectionally pursuing his goal. However, this kind of individual is hard to be accepted in a society, physical society. His own brother and his wife, they feel that Chakra with this kind of mindset is a burden to them, because they may have to look after not only him but also his family. So they try to analyze the root cause of this not paying attention to the physical activities, physical world situation by Tyagaraja, and they realize that the idols of Rama, idol of Rama, Sita and Lakshmana are the root cause. One day when Tyagaraja he was sleeping in the night, his brother and his wife, they take away the idols of Rama, Sita, Lakshmana. They throw those idols are thrown into Kaveri river. Now, next day morning, Tyagaraja wakes up to discover that the idols are gone, and he realizes that Rama has distanced himself from him. And then he takes an oath that until I find him, I will not return home, and he goes on a pilgrimage. And in that context, he comes to Tirumala, and he has made a lot of compositions there, some classic compositions. So during his pilgrimage trip, he gets a message that return back to home. So he is on his way back to home. To his astonishment, the river Kaveri swells, and the swelling of the river and the floods, the swelling of the river unearths the Rama, Sita Rama, Lakshmana idols, brings them to the surface as he was crossing the river. He sees those idols and then carries them on his head. That is when he composed this song. Rarama intidaka Rama Rarama intidaka Rara Raghuvira Sukumara Mruke Rarama intidaka. So, remaining part we'll discuss in the next episode. Welcome to 187th episode of Lalitha Sahasranam Stotra. We are covering or uncovering Jada Shakti Nama. The Jada is the overlap of virtues of Jagatikanda and the capillary stem of the lotus. From the time of Gautama the Buddha, the unsaturated inertial virtues that were present, prior to that, the unsaturated inertial virtues of up to the castle of Bandasura that was burned to ashes, that this incident happened in Mars planet. All this was translated to Jagatikanda. It consists of very many virtues of unsaturated souls. From this Jagatikanda, the ensemble of profession, from the Jagatikanda ensemble, the profession of prostitution was originated. Now, some unsaturated virtues of Jagatikanda have entered into the vessel of faculty of personality of the 8th generation or Annamaya Kosha. Due to the movement of the baby and the influence of the magnetic waves stimulation, the faculty of personality registered as ego form. That ego form is Jada Shakti. This tells us useful information. The unsaturated, unresponsive virtues of Jagatikanda are all the unsaturated souls that have acquired the physical bodies in the past. More importantly, the unsaturated fire element of their personalities. An unsaturated fire element is equivalent to adulterated fire element. From this, we can infer how difficult it is to erase the fire impressions of faculty of personality. Kaika, one of the main characters in epic Ramayana, left the impressions of her soul's unsaturated virtues into Jagatikanda. Subsequently, these virtues drew sufficient strength, enabling the profession of prostitution. Therefore, it becomes evident how difficult it is to satisfy an ego. Kaika exhibited her karmachana towards sense gratification in Treta Yuga. In Valmiki Ramayana, Ayodhya Kanda, that is the second chapter, Ativrutte Durmati Kaikeyi Kulapamsani Vanchayitva cha Rajanam Napramane Avitistati. This was said by none other than Vasishtha, addressed to Kaika. Overly reacting, unreasonable behavior, having illicit thoughts, tarnishing the image of the family. With all these qualities, you have already deceived the king Dasharatha and seized control of the kingdom. Even then, you are continuing the same trend and not being a normal self. That means, in spite of reaching the saturation in your taste, you are still continuing the same path. The unreasonable behavior means seeking a change that is beyond a threshold or not seeking a change at all. Both these are the extremes of window of operation. In the event a soul having a physical body acquires such taste, and further in the event these are not saturated, such a soul enters the framework of Jagatikanda. Such a soul is limited to its gravitational field. It cannot surpass that gravitational field. The stimulus for a departing soul happens through the ego. Once the ego is saturated or content, or when the discretion comes to a conclusion that this ego will never be content, that means when the ego is content, or discretion comes to a conclusion that this ego cannot be satisfied at any cost, on both these occasions, finally the vessel of discretion shuts its door. That is one last occasion. On one occasion, discretion is vexed up because the ego is never satisfied. So, in a state of in a state of distress, the discretion shuts its door due to unsaturated ego. On another occasion, discretion realizes that ego is content. On both these occasions, discretion shuts the door one final time. When this happens, remaining faculties also shuts their doors one after another. In this state, the soul departs from the physical body. Therefore, at the time of death, majority of people have lost their identity or ego. This can be seen practically. Prime example to this hypothesis is Ravana. Having satisfied and saturated the ego in a state of contentment, Ravana enters the battlefield one final time making a contour of anti-clockwise direction, or this is known as apradakshana. In a state of renunciation and surrendering, he drives his chariot in an anti-clockwise direction. This clearly reflects his faculties are making final preparation to turn inward and are ready to shut their doors. Through the Nama, Jadasakti, Niriswara re-enters planet Earth. Next Nama will discuss in next episode. Thank you.